Last week, I asked you all which brands you are completely sick of, the ones that are overhyped, overpriced, and just talked about way too much, but not worth the money. And this week, I decided to flip the script and ask you all which brands are not getting enough love or hype on social media. What are your most underrated brands? And I got a ton of responses, so I wanted to go through those today and find out which brands you are loving the most. So if that sounds good, stay tuned and see if your favorite brand made it on the list. All right, just quickly before we start, I want to show you my Shop My Stash item for today. This is the ColourPop Quad in the shade Sparkler. So my son picked this one for day number 11, and I love these quads. I think they're a beautiful formula. This one is not my favorite, and it's not one that I wear very often because it goes a little bit too deep, I feel like, for my skin tone. The formula is gorgeous, don't get me wrong. I just feel like I don't have a crease color that really suits me in here. I did use this one, but I really had to sheer it out just to make it light enough to work on my skin tone. And then I used the gold shade. I didn't even use these other two. So like I said, not my favorite one, but I do recommend these ColourPop quads because the quality is amazing. It's even better, I feel like, than their larger palettes. So I just wanted to share that really quickly. And all right, let's talk about your most underrated brands. So the top one was by a landslide. It was basically double the amount of votes of the second place winner. So that brand is Catrice. And I was really surprised to see them on this list because I agree with you. I think they are a super underrated brand, but at the same time, no one really talks about them since they left Ulta, at least here in the US. I think the only place you can get them now is Amazon and on their website. I know they're a lot more common over in Europe, possibly Canada. I don't know. If you're in Canada, you'll have to let us know if you can still get Catrice in store. But once they moved to just an online only brand, I just feel like a lot of people forgot about them. But I have been doing videos and reviewing their new products, and I personally love them. I think they're fantastic. So let's see what you guys had to say. The first comment says, I vote for Catrice. The True Skin Foundation and Concealer continue to be one of my favorites. I also love the concealer. The lip oils are awesome and last a good while on the lips. I really enjoy the blush, cream, and powder duos, as well as their melted sun cream bronzer. Their baked bronzer is my favorite baked bronzer, and I keep backups of that one. I enjoy their eyeshadows, and I also like their baked blush they came out with a while ago. Too bad we didn't get more colors. Don't get me started on, and then it just cut off, so I'm not sure what else you were gonna say, but if you wanna finish the comment, leave it down below. I'm actually wearing one of the blush duos today. This is the shade Peach Passion, and I mean, honestly, Patrick Ta Who, this is the most beautiful blush duo ever. You get a cream and a powder, and they're like a fraction of the price of the Patrick Ta ones. So I completely 100% agree with that. The next one says, I would say Catrice. It has great cosmetics at very affordable prices. It's definitely a winner that should be talked about more. This one says, for makeup brand, that's Essence and Catrice, I guess. People always hold prejudice against cheaper brands. Some of these products have very good formulas. I agree. I don't personally have any prejudice against cheaper brands. I love them myself, but I know there definitely are some people who feel like they're not as good, and I could not disagree more. The next one says, honestly, Catrice is killing it. I have had very few dislikes from that brand. Another one that kind of lumps Catrice with Essence. They said Catrice and Essence. Catrice has never let me down. Blush, concealer, foundation, awesome. Essence has some all-stars. Their highlighter, eyebrow gel, and mascara rock. And this one says, Catrice, I have 3 of their products that I use every day and don't get near enough hype. The True Skin Concealer is for sure my holy grail, and I've used everything from drugstore to high-end. A lot of people mentioning that concealer, and I have to fully agree with that. It is one of my favorite concealers. It's full coverage, yet it looks so smooth under your eyes. It's not cakey at all. And then there was like this big long comment. Somebody had initially commented and then everybody was kind of piling on after. They said, Catrice, their corrector and concealer are both really good. It's unfortunate that they're no longer at Ulta. Another person said, I love their under eye color corrector, better than Becca. And the lip oils, agreed, Catrice is great. The 5 in the Box Rose is in my top 5 favorites. And then the last one said, I agree with this one. Catrice has released so many good products. They released those blush duos and lip oils, as well as the Melted Sun Cream Bronzer. They also make my favorite baked bronzer, and I have backups. I think this was actually the person from the first comment. And their $6 eyeshadow palettes are great. They're pigmented but blendable, and the color stories are perfect for every day, but not boring. Their pink loose setting powder, I hear, is also really good, but I haven't tried it yet, but I plan to. So there were a ton more comments about Catrice. I'm not going to just keep reading them, but it was by far the #1 pick here. So coming in at #2, we had a really oldie but a goodie brand, and that was Clinique. So for me, Clinique is that brand that when I was in high school, I could only afford drugstore, but I really wanted to try it. A lot of my friends were using Clinique, and once I got older and I started working, then I did buy some things and really enjoyed them. They were sort of like more of an aspirational brand back in the 90s, I guess. And then MAC kind of got really popular and I felt like nobody talked about Clinique anymore. But I do like a lot of their products. I think their blushes, like the flower ones, are really nice. I love their lip products. I think they have some really great ones. Of course, their Almost Lipstick in Black Honey, and I even love Pink Honey. That's another great one too. But let's see what you guys had to say. The first comment says, Clinique, especially their eyeshadows. Their duos have just the right amount of shimmer and last all day. I even like using the applicator that's included. I wish they would come out with some new color combinations. I remember a product that I was obsessed with, and I don't know if they still make it, but I think it was called the Touch Base for eyes, and it was an eyeshadow base, kind of like the MAC Paint Pot, where they had different colors, but I also used it as an eyeshadow primer, and I loved that. I wonder if they still make it. I haven't seen that anywhere. This one says, another person mentioned Clinique, and I agree. They're a solid skincare makeup brand that's been around since I was a teenager, the 80s, and Clinique has saved my crazy sensitive allergy eyes for years, and when my skin would be extra sensitive, I could always go back to Clinique. Very wearable, staple colors. Then there was another one that had a bunch of responses. This person said, Clinique, maybe it's because I have very sensitive skin, but I feel like Clinique is reliable in that it doesn't irritate my skin like so many drugstore products, but it also lasts longer than the clean brands that cater to sensitive skin. Their cheek pops are also amazing blushes, and I love their chubby stick lip balms. Oh yeah, those are good too. So moisturizing and so many great colors. They often have sales and are therefore affordable. This person said, agree, love their Heather Pop blush and Beyond Perfecting concealer foundation. This one said, the only Black Friday order for me contained actually 2 of their foundations and 1 powder. Clinique is super underrated. Agree. I agree 100%. My skin isn't crazy sensitive, but my eyes are. Since 1986, Clinique saves me every time. And then this person said, I wish more beauty gurus would review Clinique. And then this last one says, I feel like some of the classic brands like Clinique and Lancome have been underrated lately. I have yet to find a mascara that works better for me than Lancome Idole. I know Lancome is technically not cruelty-free, so maybe that's why, and Clinique is solidly good. Not amazing, but definitely reliably good. So those were just a couple of the responses that you had about Clinique. But again, I was kind of surprised to see that in your #2 spot because I don't really hear much about it either. Coming in at #3, there was a tie. So these two had the exact same number of mentions, and that is Moira Cosmetics and Revlon. So let's see what you had to say about Moira first. This one says Moira eyeshadow 100%. Really, the blushes, eyeliner, lip gloss, the lip liners, everything I've tried is excellent. I came came across kiosks from Moira at the mall in Australia. Interesting. You can get limited products at the H-E-B grocery stores in Texas, but made a large order recently online when everything was 75% off. Yeah, they had an amazing Black Friday sale. This one mentioned both Catrice and Moira. They said, I love Catrice's camouflage concealer and Moira's blush and the Chromolite shadow. Me too. This one said, I would have to say Moira Cosmetics. They have so many beautiful, versatile products at a very affordable price point. Other than your videos, I don't hear or see anyone else talking about them, and they deserve more love. It's funny, for a while, this person, I actually had to block them from my channel because every time I mentioned Moira in a video, they would tell me that Moira was some sort of like scam company and that, you know, I was the only person who was talking about them, so it must be a scam, and they literally left that comment every single time. So eventually I had to just block them. I don't know why more people don't talk about them. I think they're awesome. This last one says, Moira is such a phenomenal brand. e.l.f. gets all the hype, but Moira has so many dupes for high end and they're better than e.l.f. The quality is outstanding. The Urban Decay Moondust dupes are spot on. Their blushes are bomb. Eyeshadow palettes and single eyeshadows, liquid eyeshadows, lipsticks and liners. I could go on and on. Almost every single product I tried was great. Yeah, I feel like that comment kind of sums it up. Those are pretty much all of my favorite products from Moira as well. I just think they have amazing eye products. Their eyeliner, like the really micro tip eyeliner, is fantastic if you have hooded eyes. Really, the only things that I've tried from them that I wasn't super crazy about are mascara and foundation. I never really got along with their foundation. I felt like it looked a little bit dry on me, but everything else, like eyeshadows, blushes, lip products, have all been just phenomenal. And then tied with Moira, we had Revlon. So let's check out some of those comments. This one was another one you guys were all kind of talking to each other. It said, honestly, Revlon, now that they've emerged from bankruptcy and got rid of their old CEO, they've been consistently releasing great stuff. Also, very smart move to remarket the classic lipsticks to a new generation. This person said, not to mention the new shades they came out with, like Candied Rose, so gorgeous. Second, they have some of the best products at the drugstore now, especially lipsticks and especially glass shine lipsticks, eyeliners, and foundation. Yes, Revlon, looking forward to Ulta carrying the re-released glass shine lipsticks so I can pick some up. This one said, didn't know about the bankruptcy or changing CEOs. Go Revlon. They've brought back a classic lip product too. I agree. This one said their brushes are top notch. So much I am getting a third backup set. I don't know that I've ever tried their brushes. I have to look into that. And this one said, yep, Revlon has totally slayed this year. Quality brand. I agree with you guys. Their lipsticks are some of my absolute favorite. The regular lipsticks, they're the one formula at the drugstore that I can think of that doesn't have a scent. The Maybelline ones and the L'Oreal, like they have big color ranges, but I hate the smell of those. And I love that Revlon is unscented and they're so creamy. They look really nice on my lips. Not to mention the glass shine lipsticks. I was so happy that they listened to everybody and brought those back. Those were amazing. This one says Revlon. They came back with amazing products. Love their lip products. Yeah, everybody loves the lips. Yeah, I mean, I think those were the only comments that people explained why they loved it. The rest of them were just kind of like this, where they just said Revlon, but they didn't explain why they think it's underrated. But yeah, they honestly have so many really good products. I also love their Illuminance foundation that came out recently. Their concealer with the sponge tip is so good. Their blushes remind me of NARS. Like they have such a beautiful formula and some of the colors are really similar to NARS as well. Just overall fantastic. Definitely love Revlon as well. So then coming in at number 4, we had Milani, and I figured this was going to be on the list somewhere. I thought it might be a little bit higher up, but number 4 still is not bad. So let's see what you guys had to say about Milani. The first one says, my vote is for Milani. I don't think they had any viral products this year, but they have so many products, especially the baked blushes, that are absolute staples. Yeah, maybe that's why, because they didn't really come out with anything super viral or hyped up this year. I know they did have releases, but it's hard for me to even think of what they were off the top of my head. So maybe they're just not on the top of everybody's mind, but I have yet to hear from people that don't like Milani. I just feel like it's a really solid brand. This next one just says Revlon and Milani. This one said RMS, Milani, Nabla, Clinique. So yeah, again, I think there were just a ton of people who said Milani, but didn't really explain why. They just love the brand. brand. When it comes to Milani, for me, I think some of their categories are incredible, especially blush. Like that's the first thing I think of. And I love their concealer, and I think they have really great lip products. Their lip oils are some of my favorites. Their lipsticks are really good too. I think where they fall a little flat for me is foundation. I've never found one that I really loved. And their eyeshadow formula now is not my favorite, although years back, I would say they were like at the very top of my list. So I think their newer formula isn't the best. Oh, and their Silky Matte Bronzer is also my favorite. So I mean, they do have like some really big hits for me, and then there's a couple categories like I'm not crazy about. So they're a little bit more hit or miss. And then coming in at number 5, we also had a two-way tie between MAC and Nabla. So Nabla was another huge surprise to see on the list. But let's see what you guys said about MAC first. This one says, my vote is for MAC. I love their rebranding and reformulation of their foundations and lipsticks. I've fallen in love with the brand again. This one says MAC and Clinique. These brands are OG for a reason. Another one says, my vote is MAC. I'm obsessed with their new lipstick formulas and RMS. I find myself reaching for their blush and bronzer the most. This one says, I use a lot of MAC. I love MAC's face and body foundation and their new serum foundation. I really need to try those. Love their eyeshadows and other products, and no one ever talks about MAC. Their products are consistently good across the board. Plus, they have a really good rewards program and sales. And then another one said MAC is a brand no one talks about, and they have great shadow foundation and everything, and of course, lipsticks. So yeah, I have to admit, I haven't really tried a lot from MAC, but I need to change that. I keep meaning to try more from this brand because they're just one of those brands that's been around forever, and I know that they used to be super hyped at one point. And back before you could buy them at Ulta, I used to be really intimidated to go up to the makeup counter. I'm one of those people who I just want to be left alone when I'm shopping. I don't want anybody waiting on me. So I never tried MAC before because I had to go up to the counter, and then I was afraid that the person there would try to like do my makeup or suggest things to me, and I just want to be able to like browse in peace. So I think that's why I never tried anything from the brand before, but now that I can browse at my leisure at Ulta, I really need to do that. I love their paint pot. You guys know I use this as my eyeshadow base every single day, and today I'm wearing their Spice lip liner as lipstick. Love their lip liners. Those are incredible. I also have one of their lip glosses, and I really like the formula, and I have one of their eyeshadow palettes that's also really beautiful. So I do need to try more from MAC for sure. And then when it comes to Nabla, the first comment says, Nabla, the jelly lipsticks are beautiful, and it feels almost criminal that they went unnoticed during the whole Tarte-like lipstick balm combo hype. This one said, yes, just posted about Nabla too. Another one said, I bought 3 of the jelly and 3 of the matte formula, and they are stunning. Formula is the best I've found, and I've tried a lot. And then this one says, yes, and their liners are amazing, as well as cheek products. Another vote for Nabla said, Nabla, I barely hear anything about them, but their Beyond Jelly and Beyond Blurry lipsticks are gorgeous, both the product and the packaging. All right, you sold me. I need to try those. They were released last year, and the first I heard of them was when I was fighting to get one during Ulta's 21 Days of Beauty before they sold out. I missed out on one of the formulas, but I've since gotten it with a coupon. And then the rest of the comments were just like this one, where they just listed the name Nabla, but they didn't explain what they love about it. Yeah, Nabla was one of my favorite brands, and I used to talk about them all the time. Their eyeshadow palettes for me were some of my absolute favorites, and I do still love them. I still have mine. I don't want to get rid of them because I think the formula is just top notch. I think it was 2 years ago now during their Black Friday sale, I ordered some of their eyeshadow singles from their website in Italy because they don't sell the singles at Ulta here in the US, which is a bummer because those are also super gorgeous. But yeah, I love their baked blushes. I haven't tried those lipsticks that everyone was commenting about, but I am gonna head to Ulta and grab one for sure because they sound incredible, and I trust you guys. Every time I try one of your suggestions, I always end up liking it. So those were the top 5, but for honorable mention, actually these 3 brands came in at a 3-way tie, just one comment below the 5th place, and those were Viseart, Hard Candy, and About Face. You guys are really loving those brands as well. And then below that, we had CoverGirl and RMS tied as well. Again, 2 brands that I really enjoy. and then Laura Geller, NYX, and Makeup Revolution. And funny enough, all of the Revolution comments were about those new palettes they came out with that look like the Patrick Ta dupes. And I agree, those are really fantastic. So those were your most underrated brands, and they were actually all drugstore with the exception of Clinique and MAC and Nabla. So I guess we had Catrice, Moira, Revlon, and Milani as drugstore. But if I think back to the overrated brands that you guys were tired of, they were all high end. There was no drugstore in that list at all. So this was super interesting. I always love hearing your thoughts. And if you're curious as to which brands you all didn't like, I'll put the overrated video right here so you could check that out next. And because Catrice was your number one, I'll put some of my Catrice videos right here in case you want to check out some of their products if you missed those as well. And I want to thank you all so much for hanging out with me today. As always, I truly appreciate it. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in my next one. Take care, guys. Bye.